Hey everyone, on our channel we often talk about alternative housing options like tiny houses. In this video we want to share a type of alternative housing that's popping up in cities across North America. Accessory dwelling units, which are also sometimes called laneway houses and carriage houses, are basically small homes that can be built in the backyard of a larger home. We're going to meet up with Bryn Davidson from LaneFab to learn more about laneway houses in the City of Vancouver. First, we want to say a huge thank you to Rise for sponsoring this video. Rise is an online resource that can help you build or renovate your home sustainably. Their website has information about sustainable building materials. They have a list of rebates and discounts to help save you money. They have inspirational lookbooks, and they also have a list of professionals that can help you complete your project. So we'll put a link to the Rise website in the description of this video so you can check them out.
The tiny house really, in a way, is designed to be mobile in a lot of cases, and so there's a certain dimension that has to do with the size of a trailer. The laneway house is different in that it's on a regular foundation, it has landscaping built in, it has sewer and water and power. A laneway house is a small house that people build in their backyard essentially, and in Vancouver, at the back of the house we typically have alleys or laneways. And so historically you'd have the main house in the front and a little two-car garage facing the alley. What we can do now is actually take away that garage and build a new detached dwelling where that garage used to be. The biggest advantage is that we're allowing new housing to be able to be inserted or infilled into existing walkable neighborhoods. So it's a better strategy than, say, just sort of sprawling out and out into the suburbs and out into the farm fields. It's going to become a necessity for most cities. It's just a question of how long it takes them to get there. I think one of the biggest challenges that we're facing now is actually making it so that more people can live in walkable neighborhoods. For the last 80 years, we've been really car dependent in the way that we build our cities. And so we just sprawl out, and you can have this big house on property, but it means you've got to drive your car to do anything. If you want to go to the grocery store, get to school, go to work. So countering that is sort of this new trend to try and develop, walkable neighborhoods. That means you might still have a car, but you have the option of walking, biking, taking the bus. And once you put enough people kind of close together, then you can actually support the corner store. You can support other kind of local businesses once you have a critical mass. So this is a huge piece because that transportation impact from driving your car around is a really huge part of your climate footprint in terms of the pollution that you're producing. So even if you had a super green building out in the middle of nowhere, it's not great if you're producing a bunch of pollution from transportation. We built Vince and Jasmine's house a couple of years ago. The building is very much like our other projects in that we have, thicker, super insulated prefab walls and triple glazed fiberglass frame windows and all the kind of normal package of green features.
Our laneway is just under 1,000 square feet, and it's 3 bedrooms, and then we also have 2 bathrooms and living room and kitchen, and we have a nice amount of outdoor space. It's working for us, like right now, living in this amount of space with the 3 of us and soon to be 4.
I think laneway houses are super important. They're helping families stay within Vancouver. Like, we would never be able to stay in Vancouver without being in a laneway. When we built this laneway house, we actually don't get equity within the property, so we're putting all our money into the property, but we don't have the option to leverage the equity to get a loan or sell it, so that we have to wait until the entire property gets sold before we actually could get our money back or upgrade or move. So we're pretty much settled here.
The ownership structure is definitely one of the big challenges of a laneway house, in that under the City of Vancouver's rules, you're not allowed to sell a laneway house separately from the main house. That means that it can be a rental unit, it can be for your own use, or it can be for your family. But that also means that those benefits primarily accrue to the family of people who already own land. So I think going forward we'll start to look at ways that maybe we can allow these things to be sold separately. They still won't be cheap. They'll be quite expensive little houses, but it's great to give people options other than buying an entire, $1 million plus lot. you always have to look at, is your strategy scalable? Can a lot of people do it? Because if it's just a handful of people, it's really not getting us anywhere. So I think the good thing about the laneway house policy in Vancouver is that they set it up to actually be scalable. And so they did a couple of really important things that are very different than what other cities have done. They made it so that the laneway house floor area was additional to the main house. They also reduced the amount of parking required. And they made it so that you didn't have to get neighbor approval for every single project. So all of those things together meant that these things could be done throughout the whole city. And now the City of Vancouver is doing about 500 permits per year. So the impact is starting to be substantial, and it's because the policy was scalable.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to see more like this. If you want to see more alternative living videos, please check out our playlist. We've got a lot of really great stories in there.